Good morning, and we are live. Going to be an interesting show today, folks. You're going to have to stick with me. There's a lot to talk about, but I tell you what, this puppet president, this old man is just not up for the job, and it is dangerous. So let's dig into it. Good morning, everybody. Boy, I hope you're excited. Hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. I really do. I hope you're having a great day. We got something we got to talk about because we've got some work to do, and this is about as critically important as it gets. Okay, being president of the United States is one of the hardest jobs on the planet. It really is. And folks that do the job don't really age well. They don't. They really do not age well. The stress of the job really shows. This is Reagan when he took office and when he left. And Reagan was another one that had serious cognitive decline in office, and the Republicans have tried to did with him what they're trying to do with Trump, where they're trying to circle the wagons around him. The problem is, as much as I disagreed with almost everybody in the Reagan administration as far as politics was concerned, several of them were actually competent. James Baker, for one, were competent people. Some of them were dangerous, very dangerous. But for the most part, they were able to keep that administration functioning, if not problematic. But, he's not the only one. I mean, you've got, let's just run through a few of the presidents recently. Bill Clinton, day he took office, the day he left office. I mean, that is a hard 8 years, folks. It is. You've got George W. Bush here. Day he took office, the day he left office. They age more than 8 years in the job. I mean, it is a rough job. I mean, I've seen several people talk about the problem. The one of the worst parts of being president is that nothing reaches your desk unless everything's gone wrong. If it has to be to the point where it couldn't have been handled by a subordinate. It just couldn't. So by the time it hits the president's desk, it's a bad situation, and that's what the president does. He just deals with intense, serious situations all the time. And yes, Barack Obama was not immune from that. The day Barack Obama took office and the day he left. And I've got to tell you, Barack Obama was fit. He was fit. He exercised. He had a smoking problem. He'll tell you that he had a smoking problem. But as far as exercise, diet, he was a fit man. And it still took its toll on him. Which leaves us to today. We've got a real problem on our hands, folks. We really do. We have a serious problem on our hands. And it appears that the Republicans are in a position that they don't really give a shit. They don't really care. You've got an entire administration built out of Republican radicals and a president that is no longer at the helm. And they don't care. They really don't care. The radicals really don't give a damn. And that's how far gone the Republican Party has come. I mean, Donald Trump turns 80 in a few months. He turns 80. And he is not doing well. Not doing well at all. And they're trying to cover it up. They're trying to hide it. They're trying to keep it from becoming public knowledge. And it's not even because they care about the country. They don't. They care about keeping the cult. And the cult is around winning, and the cult is centered around owning the libs and all that. And a dying old president that's weak, they can't survive that. They can't. And folks, you know, I played this video in the last show. And what I did, and what brings us to today's show is, you know, look, we're a community here. And I've told you over and over again, I'm an old hillbilly in the woods. People ask me all the, Paul, how do you know about the shit that you talk about? You talk about stuff in depth, and I don't, how do you keep all that in your head? I mean, how did you learn that in the first place? What is your resume, man? And I keep telling everybody, it's not me. I listen to people that know what the hell they're talking about. When I talk about ranching, I've talked to a rancher about it. When I talk about farming, I've talked to a farmer or multiple farmers about it. When I talk about business or the economy or anything like that, I'm not arrogant. I say, that's an important topic that we need to know about. We need to follow. This is something that's dangerous, or this is something that's scary. Listen, let's go find some people to talk to. And it also, that because of the community that we've built here, because of you people, that has become so much easier. When I talk about a subject, and if I don't expand on it fully, or I miss something, or I get something wrong, you folks reach out to me. You go to the website, realtexaspaul.com. You get that email address and you send me emails about what I need to be focusing on. When I showed this video last week, I started talking about my issues that I had. And a lot of folks took that as I was saying that Trump had cardiovascular issues. Several people that work in the healthcare industry that deal with the subject we're talking about today professionally on a daily basis, they deal with patients on a daily basis, reached out to me and pointed several things out. And we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. I appreciate that, Ollie. That's very kind. It says we call you wise. I'll take that. I'll take that. But look, this is the video I played last week where Trump is talking about his MRI. He gets questioned about it finally from a reporter.
They asked about my MRI. MRIs are very,
Governor Walz asked you to release the MRI records.
Will you tell us what it was
Governor
for?
Walz, you mean the incompetent Governor Walz? So if they want to release it, it's okay with me to release it. It's perfect.
What were they looking
It's like my phone call where I got impeached. It's absolutely perfect. So if you want to hear about it, or if you want to release it, you want to have it released?
Yes,
News Nation, failing News Nation.
Oh, so
News Nation is doing lousy.
Now, when we talked about this last week, I talked about how he just gets hostile about it. I mean, his whole demeanor changes. Failing News Nation, he starts getting insulting and starts getting angry. You can tell. But pay attention. There's one more thing I want you to catch.
By the way, but if you want to have it released, I'll release it.
please, can you tell us what they were looking at?
For what, releasing?
No. What part of your body was the MRI looking
I
at?
have no idea. It was just an MRI. What part of the body? It wasn't the brain.
Okay, we know that's a lie. We know that's a lie. There's no way to get an MRI without knowing what they're scanning. But listen what he just blurts out here.
Part of the body. It wasn't the brain because I took a cognitive test and I aced it. I got a perfect mark, which you would be incapable of doing. Goodbye, everybody.
Nobody asked that. He just volunteered it. Wasn't the brain. I've taken cognitive tests, and it's, and this is kudos to Midas Touch for catching this. This was something that Midas Touch caught and brought out. 1 second. I want to share this with you along the lines of what we're talking about. Trump just blurting stuff out there. This is something that came out of Trump's mouth. Nobody's assuming this about him. This is Trump just telling you, and he's spewing along, and then all of a sudden he starts talking about cognitive tests again. I have done something no other president has done on 3 separate occasions, the last one being recently by taking what is known as a cognitive examination. He just told you he's had 3 cognitive tests. We've talked about that before. You don't get a cognitive test for no reason. They don't do that. You go to your doctor, they talk about what are your symptoms? What are you doing? What's going on with you? They don't just say, hey, you know what? It's Tuesday. I'm a little bored. Let's give you a cognitive test. They don't do that. There has to be symptoms. There has to be reasons to take 3 cognitive tests. That's no longer just, hey, are we checking? No, that's not. That is you're under treatment. That is why you get 3. Stick with me. This is what we're talking about. This is Lakembe. I had several healthcare professionals reach out to me from nurses to doctors to really, that last show, they caught it and they were like, hey, well, you're missing the big picture here, Paul. Lakembe is a medication that deals with amyloid plaques that people with Alzheimer's have. It dissolves the amyloid plaques in your brain. This is what we're talking about. This is a PET scan of someone with Alzheimer's. This is a PET scan where they find the plaques. Okay, and a PET scan, and the fact that he's had an MRI and he's not talking about a PET scan, and this is the question that the corporate media is missing horribly. They keep asking about his MRI. They need to ask about his PET scan. 2 different, completely different scans. PET is short for positron emissions tomography. What a PET scan is, they juice you up with a radioactive substance. It's I'm going to go for this, fluorodeoxyglucose, FDG. Lights up your brain like a Christmas tree under a PET scan. If you have plaques, it looks like the brain on the right. You can see the plaques, throughout the brain very clearly in a PET scan. They do not find amyloid. Amyloid is just a protein. They don't find amyloid plaques via an MRI. That's not how they do that. They've got to have the contrast for them to show up. They do. They've got to have the FDG contrast in there for them to show up. It's not something that's just going to show up on a random MRI. You have to have a PET scan. Again, our corporate media is absolutely failing this. This is information that is out there. Every corporate media outlet have healthcare advisors. They have doctors on staff to explain these things. So if old hillbilly Paul out in the woods with our community reaching out to me, explaining to these things, knows this stuff, believe me, every corporate news outlet out there knows this. Skeet Sayre says he stood on a stage and said to the world, people were eating cats and dogs. That is patent insanity. Yes, the radical behavior, all of it should be leading to these questions. And we're getting there, brother. Spicy Jester, I don't think I would be bragging about passing a cognitive test. Where can you tell the difference between a lion and an elephant? Not exactly the mark of a genius, if you know what I'm saying. I know exactly what you're saying. I do. But the fact that he's taken 3, put a pin in that. There's a reason he's taken 3. There is. There's also this. Kudos to the Daily Beast. Yeah, I'm going to kick the corporate media in the nuts over and over while we talk about this. I am. They're just absolutely failing the nation. 100%. Excuse me, mouth's a little dry. I need another sip of coffee. And again, folks, if you're watching this on replay, thank you. I appreciate you being here. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Let's get as many people in here to talk about this stuff as possible. But more importantly, I need you to open up that chat panel. It takes about 30 minutes to process on YouTube when it's over, when the show's over, and then the chat will be available. The reason we're having this conversation is our community. Healthcare professionals in our community reached out, and they can confirm for you. They will be talking about this in the live chat, folks. They will. Stick with the community here. Trust me, have it open while this conversation is going, because I promise you, they will be talking about what I'm talking about in a parallel conversation to the show. Kudos to the Daily Beast, though. I'm going to give credit where credit's due. The Daily Beast immediately caught Trump's hand is covered in bandages again. What is going on? We're not letting it go this time. We're not. The Daily Beast absolutely called it out. They had the reporters ask about it. This is what they're talking about. All of a sudden, again, boom. Trump's running around with bandages. At one point, he had 3 bandages on his hand. Then, after calling it out and calling it out and calling it, they didn't let it go. They didn't. When he took the bandages off and just switched to makeup, they called that out too. So kudos to the Daily Beast. They're not letting this go. It is important. It is important. And yes, Ollie, 1976, the medication is only given after you already have plaques built up in your brain and dementia is setting in. It is. And we're going to talk about the treatment regimen that makes so much sense and why it becomes so clear what's going on. Samita Fakeda, thank you for being here. Thank you for always being here. Thank you for keeping us hillbillies informed. Hey, you're my people. You're my people. You are my people. 1 second. Almost slipped by me. I appreciate you. Where are you? Robert, thank you for supporting the show, sir. I appreciate you. I'm truly grateful. We had a birthday slip by, and I don't like to let those go by. We are a community here, and I love to celebrate them. Where are you? Catherine Ryan, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Catherine Ryan. Thanks for finding that. I appreciate you. Happy birthday to you. Everybody wish Catherine a happy birthday. Pretty please. Wish Catherine a happy birthday. Pamela K. He is in mid-stage vascular dementia, buried both parents after 12 years in a home and facility care, no adequate treatment or cure. How can his handlers allow this without intervention for his and the safety of the entire world? Bingo. That's 100% what we're talking about today. How can they do this? And they do it. I mean, look at this. This is from Steve the Viking, one of the people that follows me on social media. He posted this today, and it just shows the strength of our community, the things that they catch. Look at this. 1 second. That's the picture from the Daily Beast, by the way. He's just got the makeup slathered all over his hand again. But before we get too far, I want to pull up this meme from Steve. This is just mind blowing. It's one of those things you don't catch it until you catch it, and when you catch it, you're like, "Holy shit!" I'm no angel. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for supporting the show, and I'm no angel either. But yeah, Steve popped this up, and you don't catch it till you catch it. Everyone is covering their right hand with their left. Definitely not a cult. Every single person in this picture is doing the exact same thing because Trump did it the entire press conference. What's important about the hand thing that keeps happening? It keeps happening and it keeps happening and keeps happening. Lakimbi is administered intravenously twice a month for 18 months. Yeah, this isn't going to stop. He's going to keep having the hand. Lakimbi is administered twice a month for 18 months. And then it's after that, you go to a maintenance dose that is injected subcutaneously, kind of like a GLP-1 stick pin. But it has to be administered by a healthcare professional, and they have to do regular MRIs. Skeet Sarah brought me right back to adults wearing diapers. Ah, man, I'm telling you. They're going to try to deny this. They are trying to deny this. This is just pathetic. This is just pathetic. Carolyn Levitt gets asked again. I mean, this isn't going to go away because, again, the treatment continues for 18 months. We're going to see this hand torn up, unless they start doing the IV someplace that won't show, which they obviously can't do that or they would be doing it already. This is going to go on for 18 freaking months. But this is Carolyn Levitt.
Go ahead. Thank you. The president's been spotted out and about a number of times with bandages on his hands. Could you please explain what that is about? Secondly, he noted on Truth Social the other day that he had aced 3 cognitive tests. Could you please clarify when those tests took place?
I can do that at a later date. I obviously don't have that in front of me. The president has spoken about that.
I don't want to talk about them cognitive tests. I don't want to talk about that.
Quite extensively throughout the years. As for the bandages on the hand, we've also given you an explanation for that in the past. The president is literally constantly shaking hands. The Oval Office is like Grand Central Terminal. He is meeting with more people than any of.
Bullshit! I call bullshit! No. No, his hand is not perpetually wounded because he's shaking hands. It's just not happening. That is not it. That is not. Anybody that's cared for adults know, old folks know that that's bullshit. That is not what is causing that. It is not. Bullshit! And this isn't going to go away. Skeet Sarah, he may sue. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. He may sue. Obrego Garcia has been released again. Thank God. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But let's continue on with where we're at. Look, the MRI, this is what the MRI is for. Again, Alzheimer's, you have amyloid plaques. As those plaques dissolve, they cause brain swelling. Just the treatment causes brain swelling, and it can cause brain bleeding. Hence, the stroke, the dragging the right leg. 17% of the people in the medical trials that took Leqembi ended up with brain bleeds. Yeah. And the side effects mask stroke. Severe headaches are a normal side effect. Confusion are a normal side effect. Exhaustion is a normal side effect of Leqembi. Any of this sound like our current president? Of course it does. Of course it does. So he's going to continue to get MRIs on that part of the body. He doesn't know what they're scanning. He doesn't. But I aced a cognitive test and you couldn't. We're going to see this shit over and over and over again because, again, the treatment schedule is 18 months long. And yes, you must have regular MRIs, not PET scans, regular, because they can't keep doing PET scans because, they've got to inject you with the radioactive dye. They don't like to do that over and over and over and over again. It's to track the strokes. It's to track the brain swelling. And I assure you, folks, he is having all of these problems. It's right in front of you. You've seen video after video after video. The one where he just got on with Melania was trying to step on to Marine One. He couldn't walk from the sidewalk to the damn helicopter without Melania holding on to his arm, and he was all over the place. That's on top of the cardiovascular issues he is already having. Folks, you saw the pictures. I'm not even going to pull them up again. You've seen them over and over again. The pictures of the Foley catheter clearly visible through his pants and the piss bag clearly visible through his pants. You've seen the images of his ankles rolling over his shoes and all of the cardiovascular issues that he is having on top of this, because none of this is related to Leqembi and the side effects from Leqembi, which are harsh. They are harsh. Marcia Clipper, thank you for being here. Thank you for always being here. I think he's rotting from the inside out. No kidding. No kidding. Kira loves Michael. Michael, you're a lucky man. You're a lucky man. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for supporting the show. I'm truly grateful. But this is important, folks. This issue alone, he should resign. He should voluntarily resign. They're not giving him cognitive tests over and over and over again because he's okay. We need a fully functioning president. This president is 80 years old to begin with. Before you throw in the first issue, he's 80 years old. Then you have to add in all of these issues, and you can clearly see that he is not with it at all. He is just not there. It's one thing after another that he says, and this is just the latest. The Trump administration, Trump has been threatening the ICC, the International Criminal Court, the individual members of the court. He has been threatening them with personal sanctions if they don't promise to never pursue charges against him. Let that sink in for just a minute. And let it sink in that this is not all over primetime news. Our corporate media is 100% failing. 100%. They want Trump in place because Trump puts eyes on screens. He does shit over and over and over again, and they cannot kill the golden goose. They must keep him around. So anything that gets too real or too dangerous too close to removing Trump, you have the right-wing freaks that run and own these outlets on top of the editors that will give anything. They don't care what happens to the country. They just want to report on it. So anything that gets too real or too close to, oh, this is going to take Trump out, we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about that. Just wait a day or two. He'll do some crazy shit. We'll talk about that instead. Dave Mon, 1957. Do you think that Trump might use dementia for a way out of? Yes, absolutely. When the fit hits the shan, he will absolutely do a Vinny the Chin. You'll see him walking around in a damn bathrobe, drooling. Absolutely. Stephen Leach. Thank you, Paul. I thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. But this is important, folks. This is critical. There's more crazy stuff going on. I mean, he's not even being a father at this point. He's not even being a father. This is going on. This is going on in his own home. You've got his son. His son in relationships with the worst human beings on the frickin' planet. And I wish they would stop calling it the manosphere, because there's nothing manly about it. These misogynist pricks, Justin Weller here, and of course, Andrew Tate. You've got Barron Trump just neck deep in these. I mean, if you're a woman, let's say you just finished up your finals, or you just completed a great project at work, or just an old friend comes into town, anything that would take you to, hey, let's go have a few drinks and celebrate. And you're at the bar, just you and your friends talking about it, having a good day. And one of these pricks walks up to you and they have focused in on you. What does that mean to you? What does that mean about your day? This so reminds, Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's father was absolutely this 100% parallel tracks as to where how Ghislaine Maxwell ended up being the absolute freak that she is. Just that story is just mind-numbing to watch that family and what happens with it. Don Jr. has been building Qatar for their escape. He's going to flee the country, is what he's saying there. But his kid, his own kid, is involved. And when I say involved, I mean involved with Andrew Tate, an accused rapist. One of the worst examples you could possibly have. Just fucking gross. And I keep warning you people, if your kids are on Snapchat, especially Snapchat, for some reason, he loves Snapchat. If your kids are on Snapchat, especially if they're young men, they are inundated with shit from Andrew Tate. They are. This gross. And you know, I try to warn you over and over and over again that you've got to talk to your kids. You have got to talk to your kids. But Trump is absolutely failing as a father. His kid is now working on behalf of Andrew Tate. Not just friends with him, not just having Zoom calls with him. It's sick. It's sick. You know, Great question. Great question. I don't think she's ever been around. I don't think that she's ever been involved. I mean, let me ask you something. Do you think Melania Trump chose the name Barron? Or do you think the guy that pretended to be John Barron chose the name Barron? You know what? If I had to speculate how that went, I'd say she never saw a birth certificate. Donald Trump filled it out and said, by the way, here you go. Your kid's now named Barron. But it's not just failing at home and failing as president. I mean, it's just this is a problem, folks. This is a problem. This man is surrounded by people that are doing awful, gross things. And there's no leadership. There is no leadership at all. In fact, they are acting out on his worst impulses. Look, this just came out of the Heritage Foundation. I don't know if you're aware of this, what's going on in Indiana. Indiana just refused, Indiana Senate just refused to gerrymander their state's map. They did. They just voted on it again. But Heritage and all the people around Trump have been just engaging in the worst, absolute worst behavior. And there's no grown up in the room because we don't have a president. We have a puppet president. We have a puppet president. No real president would allow this to go on, much less come out of his own shop. These Indiana senators have been getting, they've been swatting them. The local police departments have been having to filter out calls where they're trying to get these people swatted. But it gets worse. One of the senators whose family has run a golf course, they had money before he became a state senator, ran a golf course. They got bomb threats. They got pipe bomb threats. And they told Trump, this is all coming out of his ecosphere because Trump is in full freakout mode about accountability. He's threatening in the ICC. He is in full freakout about Democrats having control of Congress and having to answer questions about the things that are going on. And it's sick, it's insane, and it's crazy. We need to go through this. Let's just run through this administration. Lance Ledgerwood, thank you for being here, brother. Every reporter Trump harasses about too dumb or pass a cognitive test should take one on camera and call him out to show Trump that he can take one on camera. Ask him to take one on camera. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Tim Walz released his last MRI results. Gavin Newsom's trolling him on this. This is not going to go away. This is not going to go away. But folks, let's just take a look. Let's just take a look at the Trump administration and the people around him and, that are just acting without leadership, that are doing their own shit constantly. Let's start with keg breath. This is our Secretary of Defense / Secretary of War. He's a clown. He's an imbecile. He's an idiot. He should not be anywhere near this job. He has the wrong character, the wrong moral. He does not have anything inside him, no qualifications to be doing this job other than he was put in the job to do sick shit that Trump wanted him to do. Now he has no leadership. Now there is no one at the reins. And they put people like this guy, Anthony Tata. This is the Deputy Secretary of Defense, Anthony Tata. Tata is a conspiracy theorist. This guy was out talking about the stolen election. He's a form. And folks, I'm going to tell you, some of our military are just fucked up individuals. He's one of them. This man talks about the craziest shit, and it's his job to make sure there are people just like him in positions of power in our military. Talk about the wrong stuff. Talk about the wrong stuff. Stephen Leach says, theftocracy, Park Rose permaculture. Yeah. Amen, brother. Amen. But talk about the wrong stuff. You got Dan Kane and Admiral Mitch Halsey just running amok, doing crap like this. Linda Donahue, thanks for supporting the show, Linda. I appreciate you. Cannot do it without you. Cannot do it without you. But these two yahoos were put in power, and they're doing crap like this. We're now a pirate nation because of these two idiots. This is our military, folks. This is our military leadership at work. This is us. Just seizing a tanker on no more legal justification than trust me, bro. You know, folks, I want to pause for a second. I do. I do want to pause for a second. Is Chegarev going to start raising the Jolly Roger during naval operations? No shit, man. You know, we actually have one ship that actually does fly that. I'll bring it up in another show. There is one U.S. Navy ship that actually flies the Jolly Roger. There is. But no, really. You know, I did a post on this on social media about this, and I just want to drive this point home. Freedom isn't an idea. It's not. It's not just some abstract idea. Freedom is actually making the government show its work, holding the government accountable, saying that the government can't just do shit because they feel like it. They have to show their work. They have to, you know, habeas corpus means present the body. What it means legally is that they can't just throw you in a prison and forget you're there. They can't do it. At least they used to not be able to do it, but now this is Supreme Court is trying to make them able to do that. I mean, we're in dangerous times. If they wanted a warrant, they used to have to go to a judge and say, this is why we need a warrant and get approval. That's what freedom is, folks. It's not some abstract idea. It's holding the government accountable and having rules for their behavior, because government is powerful. You cannot fight government. Government will steamroll you like you're not even there. That is, and our founding fathers knew this. This is the essence of what freedom is. And these people are shitting all over it, and their MAGA followers are carping like seals. We have to, and I say it all the time. I don't want to be high road. I want to be on a lower road than they are. But this is one instance. Let me break out the fact bat here. This is one instance where I am telling you, we're going to have to as unappetizing as it is, when we take power back, this is one high road we're going to have to get back on, or we don't have freedom. And, you know, I had some jackass respond to that. Some MAGA jackass respond to that. Jeremy Breeden says, saw an article from The Hill that said the U.S. isn't attacking Venezuela because of drugs. It's because of minerals. I thought, no shit. Texas Paul filled me in on that last. Yeah, you're starting to come around to it, aren't they? Thanks for what you do and being ahead of others. Yeah, there's been 2 or 3 outlets that have started to come around to it. Kevin Windsor, they took the one tanker going to Cuba every 2 months, but didn't touch any of the ones going to China every week. They're actually gearing up to take more. We are a pirate nation now, folks. But folks, that's what freedom is. And we have to restore it. We have to. When we take power back, you know, as much as I would like to just cut the Department of Justice loose to go fucking nuts on people, that is the one high road we're gonna have to stay on. Because again, this is what freedom is. And this is why I say Republicans can't govern, because this takes work. It's not easy. You know, a government that's held to account is not easy to run. It means you have to hire competent people and you have to do the work. You can't have like Lindsay Halligan out there just willy-nilly doing stupid shit in court. Things like that. You just can't have it happen. And this president is gone. He is merely a puppet that they parade around for his MAGA base, because they're delusional and stupid. He just says some nasty shit, and they're like, and they know it. And this is why it's so dangerous. Let's run through it. Stephen Leach, according to Shipping News, which I watch every day, that was a Citroen Shadow Fleet vessel. They have to prove it in court. They can't just willy-nilly seize shit, or we have no freedom. Skeet's there. Sorry, Paul, that is the mistake the Union made at the end of the war, and look what happened. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Do not misunderstand what I'm saying. Do not misunderstand what I'm saying. We can go after these people, and we can do it legally. We just have to appoint people that are competent enough to do it. But it's not just the military and keg breath that are rudderless. It's not. It's every aspect. You know, it's this clown, Scott Bessent. Scott Bessent. This guy is a disaster. His economic, he is trying, and you know, the guy has no self-control. None whatsoever. I mean, this is the guy that threatens his coworkers. Literally threatens to beat the shit out of his coworkers. I mean, what would happen to you on your job if you told somebody that you worked with, I'm going to punch you in the fucking face because somebody disagreed with you when talking to your boss? He has no self-control whatsoever. None. And his ideas are just as sick as nutlicks. Secretary of Commerce. You've got Bessent, who's the Secretary of the Treasury. This is our Secretary of Commerce. We're just going to run through the Trump administration and how fucked up it is and why these are absolutely the wrong people to have in place if you have a Reagan-esque, Trumpy, brain-dead, pudding-brained, useless, stupid to begin with, absolutely useless president, because he's 80 years old, he's got dementia, he's undergoing treatments for it. But this is why they won't remove him, because they're parading him around and MAGA is too stupid. They got their fingers in their ears going, la, 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 and they have no clue the amount of danger and damage that guys like Nutlick here and Scott Besson are doing, trying to pass the tax burden from them onto you via tariffs. That's all the tariffs have ever been about. It has never been about trade. It has never been about anything but putting a tax in place that takes the tax burden off of guys like Nutlick and Besant and their bros and the broligarchs and passes it on to you. It is just like a sales tax. That was the entire point of it. And I've told you, we've talked about this before with specific examples of why once these tariffs are in place, they are so damn hard to get rid of. It's a problem. It is really a problem. Agent Cajun John, they need to have a rigorous government school before anyone can be assigned to a position in the executive branch. You know, Democrats just appoint people that know what they're doing. They just do. Colin Wayne, first the tariff China, then have to bail out the farmers, and then after the bailout, tariff Canadian potash, which drives up input costs for farmers. Yeah, I mean, it's stupidity at every level. Exactly that. You tariff our partners, our trade partners, you destroy our markets for our farmers, then you bail out the farmers, and then you put more tariffs on, which makes the farmers even more broke because their input costs go up. And then Secretary of Agriculture, Brick Rollins, who is just, I mean, knows shit about agriculture. Nothing at all. All she does is say, oh, is this what they want me to say today? Okay, okay, I've got this. That's her job. That's her freaking job. And it's every level of this government. You know, you've got Nutlick that's about to get destroyed. Because we've got the Epstein files coming out, folks. That's the big news thing that's going to be dominating next week. We've got the Epstein files coming out. Nutlick was his frickin' neighbor, knew the guy well enough. He explained out of his own mouth. This is how incompetent these people, out of his own mouth, tells a reporter, oh, yeah, I knew Jeffrey Epstein, man. He was the greatest blackmailer ever. Really? How do you know, bud? How do you know? These are the people running around in a completely rudderless ship doing whatever the fuck they want to do. And there's nobody there to do a damn thing about it. Nobody. You've got Turkey Neck, this dumbass box of hair. Just gets humiliated before Congress. Just humiliated. Did y'all catch this? Did y'all catch this? What happened to Turkey Neck? This just happened. I got a little video for you.
Madam Secretary, how many United States military veterans have you deported?
Sir, we have not deported U.S. citizens or military veterans.
I don't believe you served in the military. I haven't either, but I think you and I can agree that as Americans, we owe everything to those who have served our country in uniform, particularly those who have served in combat. Do you agree with that?
Sir, I believe that people that are in this United States that are citizens have legal status here.
Madam Secretary, we are joined on Zoom by a gentleman named Sejun Park. He is a United States Army combat veteran.
Yeah, that just happened, folks. That just happened. Do you see that? Do you see that is a live Zoom call with one of the veterans that they have absolutely deported after she just committed perjury and said, we have never deported a U.S. citizen or a veteran ever under fucking oath. She said that. They had to threaten her multiple times. Benny Thompson was hot. He actually told her at one point, I don't want to have to charge you with perjury. Stop saying what you're saying. I mean, that literally had to happen yesterday. Benny Thompson literally had to stop her and tell her, I don't want to have to charge you with perjury. Stop. I have receipts. Before you say the stupid shit you're trying to say, let me stop you, show you the receipts I've got. And she got up and walked the hell out. ET, there are now calls to also release chains of custody with the Epstein files to show that they have not been altered. Get active, get involved, vote. Yes. Yes. Could not say it better myself. Bruce, thank you for supporting the show, man. Bruce Barrows, thank you for supporting. And along with Bruce, I want to call somebody out, call a couple of people out. Philippa, thank you very much for there are people that use PayPal. If you go to the website, there are alternatives to support the show if you don't want to do it via YouTube or something like that. There are other options. Philippa just sent a nice donation via PayPal. I'm truly grateful. Philippa. Thank you. And Deb, the doll lady, you got me in so much trouble. You did. Those were so cool. Deb made me a Trump voodoo doll, and she made me a couple cat toys that are really freaking cool. We're gonna have to order some of those cat toys from you, Deb. We really are gonna have to order some of those cat. You got me in so much trouble. I put everything on the counter, and the cats are not allowed on the counter. And apparently, every time they are on the counter, it is directly my fault. They smelled those little cat toys you made like a mile away. I'm not even kidding, man. I'm not even. The second I turned my back, oh my God. The second I turned my back, Dolly Parton comes sliding across the counter, snags one and takes off. Just takes off running. I get my ass chewed. I mean, literally standing in the kitchen, get my ass chewed. The cats are not supposed to be on the counter. I did this, that, and the other. I'm like, I get it. They're not supposed to be on the counter, yada, 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 yada. I turn around, sliding right by. She gets the second one in all's ass, man. So I'm grateful to you. The cats absolutely love him, but you did get me in the doghouse. Oh my God. Folks, I want something serious. Back to serious. What we're talking about with Kristi Noem and the perjury. Same cat. Yeah, same cat. 2 in a row. Took one, hit it, came back for the second one. But no, this article, I pull up these articles, the headlines, because you can just take this headline, you can just NPR and then just partial headline, service members, not citizens, and it'll pull this article up. I would like you to read this article. This is not an exhaustive list, but this is a list of several veterans that served our country, how they served, several Marines that have been deported. They've been deported by ICE. And this is how crazy it is. I mean, y'all know this freaking guy. One second. Just a second. I got to pull. One guy I didn't have an image of. Y'all know Tom Homan. Y'all know this loser. Just worst possible person you could appoint to be the border czar, the head of ICE. Yeah, this is the same guy that took 50 grand in a kava bag. Kava's, if you don't have a kava in your area, we don't have kavas here, but it's a Greek fast food restaurant, basically, is what it is. Took 50 grand in a kava bag from FBI agents. They had to kill that investigation because they would much rather have this guy in place doing his crazy shit than they would actually follow the fucking law. This guy's running around doing whatever the hell he wants because our president is clueless, pudding brained, and talk about no leadership. Turkey Neck, her boss, and Tom Homan don't speak. Yeah, that's a real thing. The Department of Homeland Security, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, does not speak to her subordinate because they hate each other. This is what it looks like to have no president and no one in any position that can do anything about it. That's what's going on in our country, folks. I mean, that's what's going on. Our Department of Homeland Security head, Christy Turkey Neck Gnome, does not speak to Tom, yeah, I'll take the money, Homan. You'd think, since the both jobs are so freaking important, that it would be important that they would actually, nope. They fucking hate each other. They hate each other. And then, of course, you've got Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is the Homeland Security advisor to the president. Doing whatever the hell he wants, off doing whatever the hell he wants. Usually preaching a white supremacist agenda. With no checks. No checks on him at all. And when I say he's preaching a white supremacist agenda, I mean he is preaching a white supremacist agenda. The Southern Poverty Law Center had several memos leaked from him, and he is way too intimate into things in white supremacy circles that you would not be aware of. I mean, you might know what the whole 1488 things is, the 14 words, and the 88 being the eighth, H being the eighth letter of the alphabet. So 88 stands for HH or Heil Hitler. I mean, those are some things that are known out there. But there are a lot of things that aren't. I guarantee you, none of you have read this book. Martin Bissig, thank you for being here, man. There's Switzerland in the house. So glad to have you here, man. Chime in, speak up. And when we talk about what's going on, it's incredibly important to have your input into our community. I'm very grateful you're here, sir. But yeah, I assure you, none of you have read this book. And again, this is one I have to warn you about. If your son or daughter shows up with a copy of the Camp of Saints, talks about the Camp of Saints, brings it up. This is not something your kid normally would come across in their normal daily lives. They just wouldn't. This is a highly revered novel in the white supremacy movement. The whole point of the novel is that and this is going to sound familiar, you have people of color that are immigrating into France, and the people in the book, this is supposed to be a cautionary tale about abuse of government and how hateful the white supremacy movement is. They take it as a primer. They have people read this as an example of how you should act, how hateful you should be, and how terrible. And it's all fiction. It's complete fiction. It's like the Turner Diaries. It's all fiction. But they take this fantasyland fiction, these white supremacists take this fantasyland fiction, and they're like, oh, well, yes, this is real. Look what will happen. And they feed this shit to kids as though it's some special knowledge. And Stephen Miller's talking about this shit in his memos. Why does Stephen Miller even know about this book? Yeah, it's Trump's, Hitler's mother was Jewish. Someone's going to have to, someone, like I said, I reach out to smart people. Someone with a psychology degree is going to have to explain that to me at some point, how they end up like this. I don't know. Do they think it doesn't apply to them or what it is? I don't know. But this is the guy that is Trump's Homeland Security advisor, pumping out emails with white supremacist shit all flooded into it. And we wonder why ICE is completely off the fucking rails. You know, we just had an ICE agent called out. A kid had put a tracker on his dad's truck because trucks in their neighborhood get stolen because they're poor. His dad works construction, right? So he put a tracker on his dad's truck. His dad gets picked up and deported. His truck disappears. Folks, again, talking about freedom, there are rules, there are laws, there are things that the government must do. They can't just take your shit. This was a wholly owned vehicle by someone. The family owned this truck. Kid tracks it down. There's an ICE agent driving it around for a personal vehicle. Ellen Doloff, thank you for being here. 9127. I always enjoy your channel. I'm glad. I try to be of help. You know, folks, I got to tell you, you know, this is how these things happen. An ICE agent just stole a truck and is driving it around for his own personal entertainment. The guy's kid confronts him in a parking lot. There's video of it if you want to go look at it. And they just stole it. Freedom is holding the government to account. It's making them show their work. They can't seize your shit without going to court and saying, hey, this person used this vehicle in a way that was involved in some criminality, and therefore the government is going to seize it. It's going to be, they've got to go through the whole asset forfeiture process. They can't just take shit. And here they are. ICE is just taking shit. Here's an article for you that talks about the Southern Poverty Law Center, again from NPR, great source, trustworthy source, where you can read about why Stephen Miller is talking about, you know, the shit that he's talking about in his memos and his ties to Christian nationalism and white supremacy, which are one and the same. But it's not, you know, it just doesn't, it's not just these yahoos that you know. It's not. Yeah, John Ratcliffe. He's the head of the CIA. He's the guy that's keeping his head down and trying to fly under the weather. And he is the worst person in the world you would want running the CIA. He is a extreme partisan. Extreme partisan. You don't hear about the shit he's doing because the CIA can't operate within the United States of America. But we do have our allies that are screaming to high heaven. You've got Denmark that's declared us a national security risk in their intelligence. You've got the Five Eyes, which was the most successful intelligent operation in our history, is now broken. Our allies are no longer willing to share intelligence with us, and it's all under his watch. And there's nobody at the rudder of the ship. These are the worst possible people to have in place without a strong central leadership. ET, remember, even if he is gone tomorrow, even though we will likely sweep the midterms, they will still be in the White House until January 29. Get involved. Amen, brother. Amen. Glad you understand the assignment. Glad you understand the assignment. And this is our director of national intelligence. And you wonder why our intelligence apparatus is falling apart. She has no business in that job. She was in a cult herself. Beyond the Trump cult, I'm talking about a religious cult. She has no expertise whatsoever to be the director of national intelligence. Folks, the DNI is a incredibly, crucially important job. This is the boss in charge of, we talk about the difference between human and SIGINT, signal intelligence versus human intelligence. We have a massive signal intelligence apparatus globally. And this is the fucking idiot in charge of it. Somebody with incredibly troublesome ties to Russia, compromised in so many ways. And there's Tulsi Gabbard. These are the people that are running these departments with no president around. Dementia Donnie, lame duck Donnie, just nothing. Worried about his Bitcoin grifts. Folks, freedom is making the government show its work. And as bad as it is, as ugly as it is, if we keep doing the work, we'll get there. This just happened. Camaro Abrego Garcia has been released from ICE custody. Again, he is a free man. That didn't happen willy-nilly. It didn't. It didn't happen willy-nilly. It happened because of the work that you do. Folks, a country with millions of people cannot be governed, cannot do this shit if you will not comply. I am telling you, the results of these elections have an impact. You showing up and electing Democrats puts the absolute fear into Republicans. Let me tell you, I told you things would change. Do you remember when the Republicans were celebrating? Trump just wrote a memo that said federal employees no longer have collective bargaining rights? Y'all remember that? And Republicans were like, yes, we've been trying to kill the unions forever. Yes. Woo. And Congress did nothing. They did nothing. This just happened. One second. I didn't have a headline for this one because I had so many tabs open, but so be patient with me. This just happened. You can go to Politico. There's all you have to do is do a search for Republicans vote with Democrats to restore collective bargaining rights. Yeah. Yeah. You had about 20 Republicans cross the aisle and do the unthinkable. They codified in law, which had already existed, but they reasserted that no, the president can't just take these away. It's the Protect America's Workforce Act. Republicans crossed the aisle and voted. People are like, what are the Democrats doing? Why don't I see the Democrats? This is what the fuck they're doing, people. They're working. They're doing their jobs. They're doing their jobs. Here you go. There's NBC has one, Federal News Network, Axios, all have stories. Pick your poison. Go read about it. I'm telling you, what is going on, what has happened in the midterms, this momentum means something. It is changing Republicans fundamentally. They want to keep getting those paychecks. They don't all, when they see a plus 10 to plus 15 shift, they know they're at risk of losing their jobs. Even in safe red districts, they're in danger of losing their jobs. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference. Your participation makes a difference. When you show the fuck up and vote, when you get out there and you participate with the Democratic Party, these winds blowing against the Republicans mean something in real practical time. They do. Look, another one that should never have been in her job. Another one that should have never been in her job. Pam Bondi. We just had memos leaking. Again, corporate media, not touching it. You got to have guys like Ken Klippenstein and it will start out here. And then the corporate media won't be able to ignore it. But there have been memos out of the Bondi office that has said they want to open investigations on anyone like me. I'm going to make the list. I am going to make the list. If you're anti-immigration, anti-Trump, fuck ICE, and you've got a following, they want to open an investigation on you. That's what they're doing with our tax money. We're back to McCarthyism. And that's what happens when you don't have leadership, when you've got a president that's a zombie. I'm telling you, people like me end up with investigations opened up on them. That's what happens. And they're not going to remove him, folks. They're not. They're going to keep parading him around and have him. Have you seen these latest? They're in a panic. They're in a panic. This trip that is supposed to do something about his shitty poll numbers. Donald Trump stood in front of an audience and said, "Your grocery bills aren't high; they're low." And the audience groaned. You can't hide this. You can't hide dementia. You can't hide Alzheimer's disease. You can't hide his age and frailty and weakness and the fact that he's got pudding for brains. He can't talk on any subject. He just lies and lies and lies and lies. I mean, he does stupid shit like this. The federal government's only purview into this would be interstate commerce. Trump cannot tell state governments how to regulate industry within their own state. Within their own state. Now, if they try to regulate something, if California tries to regulate something in Arizona, absolutely the federal government can say, nope, not your wheelhouse. But Trump signs an executive order trying to tell individual states what they can and cannot do because his tech bros are in a full freakout mode because this just happened. One second. One second. Damn it. I'm going to have to start putting out for a lot more subscriptions. Everything's gone to freaking subscription now. Everything. Just be patient with me. This won't take me but a second. I'll find one that I've already got a subscription to. Or does it require one? Here you go. This doesn't require it. CNBC doesn't require a subscription. I've got subscriptions to about a half a dozen news services, but some of them I'm not wanting to give our money to. Mr. Will, 73. Hey, Paul, on the road here with you. Thank you for supporting the show, my brother. I appreciate you. Ride or die. I love to see the hearts and skulls, man. Yeah, Oracle's revenues are in the shitter. NVIDIA, CoreWeave, Micron, all of them. AI is a bust because company after company after company that invested huge amounts of money into this technology that were promised ROI, return on investment. Well, the ROI is not materializing. So these companies are cutting the tap, turning the tap on. Hey, this isn't what you promised. In fact, we're going to start seeing some lawsuits here pretty soon because some companies lost a shitload of money on this AI bullshit. That's just not, it's a con. It's a grift. It is not able to do. Man, I asked the other day, you ever had a brain lockup? Where you can like visualize somebody's face. You've said their name 10,000 times, but your brain will not pull up their name. I hate that. So I said, okay, who is the Health and Human Services secretary? Who's the director of Health and Human Services? It's RFK Jr. I know who it is, but I couldn't get the name to come up. I don't know. Anyways, I was frustrated. And Google's AI tells it's Javier Becerra. I'm like, no, that was the last one under Biden. It's RFK Jr. I know that. I mean, AI sucks, man. It just basic shit that you can find out with a Google query and just reading the responses yourself. The little AI shit box at the top, they'll get it wrong. More often than not, they'll get it wrong. And people are figuring it out. So yeah, Trump has to sign this bullshit executive memo trying to tell states how to regulate AI who are seeing companies getting screwed. Their companies in their states. No, Trump can't do shit about that. But that's what you get when you don't have a real leader. I mean, he was stupid to begin with. Trump was an idiot to begin with, but now he's got pudding for brains. So you get somebody like Nutlick that tells him, hey, do something about this and we'll just make it stick. And Nutlick's a fucking idiot himself. Chris R797 would have been here earlier, but I wanted to get a cheeseburger before I had to start financing such a purpose. Hey, no, I thank you for being here, brother, and I hope you're having a great cheeseburger. Me and Mrs. Texas Paul found this place yesterday. Well, actually, she's been there before. I had never been there before. They just dumped a bunch of money into new stores. I got a new favorite burger joint. It's called Brahms. It's kind of a local thing. Y'all won't have it. It's called Brahms. And please, if the guy that owns Brahms is some right-wing freak nutter, please don't tell me. Please don't tell me. Anyways, great burger, great fries. So I feel you with the cheeseburger, my man. I'm sitting there, I've been craving one all day because we had one yesterday when we were out running some errands. And yeah, so I'm with you, brother. I feel you. I feel you. Travel on, Trish. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Texas Paul. I'm grateful for this community. Resist. No, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for you. I am truly grateful for you. Sherry Purpura, thank you. Super. I appreciate you for supporting the show, always being here. Somebody was talking about ROI just a second ago. I missed the comment. I love that you people even know what ROI is. Wendy's went AI with drive-through and people were getting bacon slices in their ice cream cones. It's, I'm telling you, it's bullshit. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Your knowledge and wisdoms are always worth it, are always worth the wait. Here's a little something for the subscription coffers. Don, is it Abel or Don Abel, or you got to let me know. Phoneticize that for me. I want to pronounce your name correctly. It's just a little thing I've got. Bothers me when I don't pronounce. I feel like I'm disrespecting you when I don't get it right. But look, folks, it leads to shit like this. This is going to blow your mind. This is just going to, and it will give you heart, because you watch this and realize we're going to defeat this shit. This is the best they've got. Okay. This is Benny Thompson. Take a look at, just destroys us. Watch this and I want to see in the comments how you feel about this after you.
Executive Order Domestic Terrorist Organization, Antifa. That's our primary concern right now.
All right, that's what President Trump did. What did the FBI say?
We share the same view. When you look at the data right now, you look at the domestic terrorist threat that we're facing right now, what I see from my position is that's the most immediate violent threat that we're facing on the domestic side.
So where is the Antifa headquartered?
What we're doing right now with the organization.
Okay, I want to pause it for just a second. I'm going to back it up. I'm sorry. I hate to do this, but I'm sorry. Can you hear when Benny Thompson asked him the question? Just check this out. I'm going to back it up. I'm going to start it over. Look at his reaction when he realizes, oh shit, there's going to be questions.
Executive Order Domestic Terrorist Organization, Antifa. That's our primary concern right now.
All right, that's what President Trump did. What did the FBI say?
We share the same view. When you look at the data right now, you look at the domestic terrorist threat that we're facing right now, what I see from my position is that's the most immediate violent threat that we're facing on the domestic side.
So where is the Antifa headquartered?
What we're doing right now with the organization.
Where in the United States does Antifa exist? If it's a terrorist organization and you've identified it as number one.
We are building out the infrastructure right now.
So what does that mean? We're trying to get the information. You say Antifa is a terrorist organization. Tell us as a committee, how did you come to that? Where do they exist? How many members do they have in the United States as of right now?
Well, that's very fluid. It's ongoing for us to understand that. The same, no different than Al Qaeda and ISIS.
No, I don't want you. I'll ask one question, sir. I just want you to tell us. If you said Antifa is the #1 domestic terrorist organization operating in the United States, I just need to know where they are, how many people. I don't want a name. I don't want anything like that. Just how many people have you identified with the FBI that Antifa is made of?
Well, the investigations are active.
So you wouldn't come to this committee and say something you can't prove. I know you wouldn't do that.
I love Benny Thompson. Oh my God, I love Benny Thompson. Oh, I just, oh man, the sun came out. Woo. I love Benny Thompson. I do. He is so good at this. He is so good. And these are the idiots that are Trump sycophants, Trump suck-ups that are willing to say and do anything. We're going to defeat these. You see how this, I mean, the moment he just got the first, shit. I mean, you could just see it all over him, man. We're going to defeat this. But yes, it is a problem that men like this are in a position of power right now. Big Gizmo 80 says, based on your post yesterday, I know today's show would be anxiety inducing, but I have to listen. Thanks for what you do, Texas Ball. Well, look, man, I'm going to leave you on a positive note. I am going to try to alleviate some of that anxiety. Jeff Schuler, Paul, I was just typing a comment about this. Hilarious. I'm telling you, this is who is fighting us. It's ridiculous. Skeet Sarah, yes, Midas Touch has reached 6 million subs. That's the worry. They are worried. They are worried. They really are. Benny T is the original OG. He is Cecile Kazemi. He is so freaking good at this. I mean, it's one thing to be able to ask questions and stuff like that. He understands that narratives are so incredibly important. He understands. He's got a relationship with that camera. He knows how to, the emotion to put on. Come on, man. Come on. And he knows how that looks. And he knows when he's got one of these twats up against the rope that are sitting there going, I don't want to answer this. I don't want to answer this. He's so good at this. He is so. That's why I say, Paul, why are you a Democrat? Because I fucking know Democrats. Pardon my language. Pavlon 01. President, sorry for being so late. Hey, I'm glad you're here. I am so glad you are here. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for always supporting the show. I am truly grateful. Benny ripped him a new one. He did. Oh, this went on for a lot. It was painfully uncomfortable to watch that exchange. It really was. It was so obvious that then Stephen Leach, thanks for supporting the show. Glad to see the hearts and skulls, my friend. Rena Scott, 7631. I watched the hearing yesterday. I believe it. You people are amazing. You really are amazing. The way you keep yourself informed, I'm telling you, this is why we make such a difference. I'm amazed how smart the Dems are of wording questions clear as day to show just how stupid the MAGA cult is. Yep. Glenn Kaneko, thank you for being here. That pause says he doesn't know shit about anything and got caught. He knew there weren't answers to that particular question, that it wasn't real, and his whole narrative was going to fall apart on camera. He knew he was going to be the viral clip of the day. He did. Victor Harchman got caught with his hand in the Trump cookie jar. Yep. But look, folks, I do want to, look, things like this are happening, and it is critically dangerous that we don't have a functioning government. It really is, because all throughout the world, we talk about Ukraine, we talk about the Middle East, there are events that are happening that need competence, and little Marco ain't it. Little Marco's a joke. He is one of the worst secretaries of state we have ever had. Do you think he's prepared to deal with this? Or even understands the importance of it to both trade and security? I wonder if little Marco could find Thailand on a map. You know, we talked about it in the show why Thailand and Cambodia are at war with each other. They're shooting at each other. Thailand has invaded Cambodia. I don't think little Marco understands shit. I really don't. But this just happened. Resistance from within Thailand, they are pissed about being sucked into a war. So the Prime Minister of Thailand just dissolved parliament and they're going to hold elections. Do you think little Marco is in a position to even know what to do in that situation? You know, because when something like that happens, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. You know, Russia interferes with our elections for a reason. There's a reason that we don't say that's an act of war, because we do it too. And when something like this happens in Thailand, if you have a competent State Department, the phones start ringing in Thailand. Meetings start happening. Support. We use the relationships we have on the ground to make sure good people end up in power. You think little Marco's got this under control? No. Which means there's a good chance something really freaking bad is going to come out of this snap election in Thailand. So yeah, there are things to worry about. There are things to stress about. There are things to be upset about. But I have to tell you, our institutions are holding. I am proud to tell you that for the most part, our institutions are holding in the resistance against this insanity and this craziness, because this is something that didn't even make the news. They didn't even talk about it. I don't know if they're scared to talk about it or they just don't want to just pile on to all this shit that is, you're watching the Trump regime collapse. Twatosphere. I learned a new word, twatosphere. David Can 24940. Thank you for being here, brother. Thank you for being here. Skeet there, the Reds and the racists, that hatred allowed the Russians to infect them with their thought process. Yeah, Russia has serious cultural problems, folks. It really does. But I just want to point this out to you. This didn't even make the news. And it's insane that it didn't make the news. The Federal Reserve just Trump-proofed itself. They did. They very quietly reconfirmed presidents of the banks, put people in place that are committed to the economic success of the United States and are not sycophants of Trump, will not just do what Trump wants. Trump may eventually get Powell. He may eventually get one of the board of governors. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. It looks like they're winning. But just in case, the board of governors Trump-proof the Fed. This is huge. Federal Reserve Board announces reappointment of Reserve Bank presidents and vice presidents. They did this very quietly. It is a done deal, and you cannot undo it. Trump can't undo it. He has no authority. He had no way to get his hands involved. I'm telling you, I don't agree with everything Powell does. I don't. But I have to tell you, that is competent leadership. That is what competent leadership looks like. When they will do things like that. So yeah, there's a lot to worry about. And there's some really ugly shit going on because we've got an administration with an 80-year-old, weak, lame duck, demented old man that is not acting as president. He is not president of the United States. He just isn't. So you've got all of these people around him running around doing their own shit. But folks, your work, your involvement, you're helping win these elections, supporting candidates, phone banking for candidates, all the work that you're doing. I get the emails, I read them. I may not respond to every one because I can't, because of the sheer volume. I got mugs to make. But I'm telling you, I read them. I read them all. And when you say, hey, Texas Paul, I just want you to know, got involved with my local party. You were right, man. It's dead as doornail. They need some excitement. They need some energy. I'm on it. You have no idea what that means for the country. It means we're going to survive this. It means that we're going to survive this with institutions intact enough that we can actually appoint decent leadership to and get our children back a country that somewhat resembled the country that was given to us. Where habeas corpus meant something, where you couldn't just lock a guy like Comar Abrego Garcia up for no reason other than you just felt like it, bro. You actually had to prove it in court. I say this over and over again. Joe Biden and Barack Obama both deported millions of people, almost 8 million people between them. They did it legally. They followed the law. They followed the law and still deported almost 8 million people. Democrats don't hate the immigration system. They just want it to function properly, to be able to vet people as they come in, to modernize it so we're not operating under this broken old piece of crap system that the Republicans insist stay in place because they like to run on this. They don't want to fix the immigration system. They want to campaign on the immigration system, so they can't fix it. It's got to stay broken. Meanwhile, Democrats keep putting up bill after bill after bill to do things. Julie Johnson just put a bill forward. We've got a severe shortage of healthcare workers in this country. This is what Democrats are doing, folks. We love Julie Johnson on this show. She's been on the show several times. She's wonderful. She just put a bill forward to streamline, I'm tongue-tied now. To streamline healthcare. What's the word I'm looking for? Apprenticeships, healthcare apprenticeship. Sorry, got tongue-tied. My bad. It happens sometimes. I got to talk for like 2 hours, man. It's just get tongue-tied sometimes. She just put a bill forward to streamline healthcare apprenticeships so that we can get more nurses and what in place. Meanwhile, the Republicans are doing shit like reclassifying healthcare workers as not professionals, which fucks up their loans that they use to pay for their education. That's the difference, man. We're Democrats, man. Well, government's not run on social media. Government's run in the halls of Congress and in the White House and in the Supreme Court, and that's where Democrats are. Julie Johnson didn't write that bill on social media. She wrote it in the halls of Congress and went to work. She's a pit bull, man. She got Republicans in districts that this really, really affected to co-sponsor the bill. This is going to happen because they're working. She wasn't on social media. She wasn't on my show. She was at her office working because governing's not easy. It's hard. That's why we must have competent people to do it. R.M. McLean, thank you for being a new Epstein release from the Dems House Oversight Committee. Boom! I'm telling you, that's going to be the news story all next week. Epstein. I've seen so many people that are like, why did we quit talking about Epstein? Because you don't want to just keep beating a horse without something new to say. And we got a bunch of new shit that's going to dump this coming week. So yeah, watch. Skeet Sayre, all kids in public school in America should be taught about Carter's presidency in depth at grade 4 and above. Absolutely. 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 Well, folks, that's what I have for you today. That's what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted, I want you to understand the dangers, but I also want you to understand the successes and why we're going to win. I want you to be able to understand there is a payback for all the work that you do. There is a payback for all the work that you do. The fact, this getting together and doing this, I know it seems like, hey, what are we doing, man? Just sitting around talking to each other. No, we're getting it done, folks. We're getting it done. And yes, I catch so much shit for being so much a cheerleader of the Democratic Party. I do. I catch a lot of shit for that because social media is all about clicks and shit like that. That's not why I'm here. It took me years to build this community. This is not something that happened overnight. Day in, day out, grinding every day, producing videos, doing troll patrol, making sure that they can't fuck up our community with nasty comments and bring people down, keep everybody pumped up, buck the tide when stupid shit is happening. All of that takes time and energy. And I've been doing it for years, and having you here, having built this to where you are all getting out there and making it happen, I'm telling you, folks, it just makes me want to cry sometimes. You have no idea the impact that you are making. No idea. And what that means. Well, look, I've got some good news, folks. One of the Lions of Congress is going to be our guest next Wednesday. Congressman Don Beyer is going to be our guest. One of, if not the most intelligent man in Congress, highly successful businessman. He is one of the Lions of Congress. He knows he's planting trees under which the shade he will never enjoy. He takes young Congress people and he shows them how to be effective in Congress. He will be our guest next Wednesday. So have your questions ready. I'm telling you, you're in for a treat. This is literally one of the most intelligent people I have ever had the privilege of meeting in my life. Let me tell you how smart this guy is. He knew that we were going to have to write legislation about AI. He knew we were going to have to be smart about it. You got people like Linda McMahon, the head of the Department of Education. I didn't even show her today, but she's another freaking idiot. It's coming. It's coming. There's a lot of actual legal paperwork, man. I'm working on it. There really is a lot of people. And I'm going to need some co-sponsors, by the way. To declare a church, you've got to have a charter with, it can't just be me. So yeah, so we're working on it. We're working on it. Giddy Roadrunner, thank you for being here. But he knew we were going to have to regulate AI. He knew your average congressman didn't know shit about it. He already had several advanced degrees. He said, you know what? I guess I should learn something about AI. He went to George Mason University to get an advanced degree in artificial intelligence so that he can intelligently write legislation about this topic. He doesn't have to rely on the tech bros and everybody to tell him a bunch of bullshit. That's the kind of guy Don Beyer is. And he's going to be with us on Wednesday. Super treat. I hope you can be here. On that note, enjoy some Texas cities at night.